only made one bad decision at 19!
2 bad decisions!
Hi everybody, welcome back to Two Bad Decisions. I'm Laur.
And I'm Han. And today we've had this idea for a while, but we never acted on it. But basically, Laura and I, the beginning of spring semester of this year, we went and saw all of the best picture nominees for the Oscars, for the 2019 awards. And Little Women was one of those, of course. And basically, this was probably the closest we've ever come to fighting with each other, was about Little Women, because we just fully disagreed with each other. And so it's been the idea for a while to discuss our preferred alternate endings to Little Women, because it's such an infuriating movie, the way that it ends. I feel like there's no satisfying ending to it.
We each hate a separate sister, by the way.
Oh, yes.
In your guesses now.
Mine is fueled though by just hate, straight up hating the actress. It's not even it's not
Mine
even
is
anything
by older sister anger.
Yeah, but
You guys already know who it is then.
yeah. But yeah, so we're just gonna be discussing how we would have liked the movie to end, or the things that we would have preferred to happen. But
And
first,
also mukbang.
Oh yes,
Mukbang.
I think it's mukbang. But
I got the same thing I had last time.
I have Starbucks. I got a big one.
Ooh.
Also,
What drink did you get?
Oh, I got an iced white chocolate mocha.
Oh, I got that the last time I went to Starbucks.
I've been getting them for months now.
Oh, I just recently got one.
I really
I saw it and it looked really pretty.
Yeah, I like it. It's because I like my coffee to just not be coffee. So
Agree.
yeah.
Which is what cheap coffee is.
Amazing. Yeah, I just my preferred, it's just so watered down and sweet that I'm just it's not really coffee. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, look, I peeled all my chocolates beforehand so that you don't have to listen to it.
I, for one, enjoy listening to it.
But that was my big brain move. I thought ahead.
That was me shaking it.
That was silent. You shook it and nothing happened. There was no sound. You could you could see it enter my ears. I was
it was so early on for me to be acting like this.
Why did you do that? It is so close. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. You want to do a fit check? Why'd you lean in like that? She keeps putting up her finger to give you 1 second. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. I'm so. She's still doing it. Anyone listening is what the? What are you doing? She's leaning into her mic. What are you doing? What is that?
That's me swallowing. But I was trying to do it, but I couldn't stop laughing, so it was caught in my throat.
Ooh, oh my god. Oh,
Fit check.
Bitch.
This is thrifted. This shirt. I actually got it from this, I think it's called Upcycled Alley on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend from high school, I followed her and posted something about it. So I got it off there. It's pretty cheap. Anyways, this is an old jacket I had, and I cut up an old shirt and put heart shit on it.
I remember that period of our lives when we were both DIY.
Gold. I also have star earrings in, but you can't really see them because they go forward.
Oh. Wait, yeah, they do. I really like them though. They're cool.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And fit check.
Oh, okay. So today I think this shirt is I look like a damn lumberjack. I Like, it's so funny. And it's also
You
like
and Lum are twinning.
you and oh my god, yeah, Lum, my lumberjack. Basically, he's like this man doll that like Hannah got me for Christmas last year because I saw him at Target and I just like absolutely I died for him. I was just like, Lum, sir, like I love you. And she knew how much I loved him and she knew to buy him. And but the thing is, he was like this, he's this lanky ass man doll and he's lanky because he's supposed to hug a blanket, but like she bought him like without the blanket. Like somebody took the blanket away from him. So he was just like, had nothing going, nothing going for him. But anyways, I have been into wearing things that are, I saw like one girl call it oatmeal colored on TikTok, on Depop. And I was like, oh, it's oatmeal.
That's a nice way to describe it.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to go cut down a tree. Also, in my senior year of high school, I went through a Lorax phase. Like I love the Lorax. I unironically love the Lorax. I would like blast the music in my car. What does that mean? That was such a like non-descriptive answer. Do we not
I don't know
like
how
it?
I feel about it yet.
I love it. No. You gotta bump it in the car. It is so good. And I would make I think Will was a part of that phase. Yeah, we would all just like get in my car, like our free period, and drive to Starbucks and bump the Lorax. But anyways, that's my
wow.
I just
don't know how I feel about it.
That's so funny. Also, earlier, so we kind of broke down a couple minutes ago because we've been talking for a while now. It's like been like an hour or something, or over an hour. But Matt like he was like on our call earlier. He looked at me and was like, "You look different lately." And I was like, this feels like an insult. But then he said it's because I've been wearing brown. I just wanted to bring it up because I'm wearing not brown, but it's a shade of brown.
Yeah. His like observations all feel like insults.
Yes, everything he says feels like an insult.
Like he'll like compliment me and I'm like, I think he's kidding. Like
no, yeah.
It doesn't register.
He does the same thing that Mariel does, but differently, like the thing where she like jumps to different things. He'll like jump between like just like around and being kidding and just kidding. And then he'll just give you a genuine compliment. So it like throws you off. And I'm like, was that real? Or was this a bit?
I'm like, he's just making fun of me right now. Like this isn't real.
But anyways.
That's, on being made fun of by boys in middle school. It's just never healing from that.
You know those TikToks that went viral from that one girl that was really good at impersonating like popular people in high school?
Oh my god, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she was like so good at it because her voice just naturally sounds like she's being a bitch. She just sounds like she's being mean. And she did this one where it was like she would talk to like the same imaginary boy in her like POV videos, and she would be like, he like really likes you, like he likes you, my friend here, he likes you, and then they would look at each other and laugh. I remember that shit.
Why did we let that slide? Like that wasn't even awful. Funny. You know what I mean? Like their whole bit was just like
that was so mean.
Ridiculous.
They would be like, oh, he has a crush on you. And then he'd be like, ew. And I'm like, okay.
I'm for like, sure. Thank you. That really did a number on me.
Yeah.
My favorite was there's this one guy who would pretend we had dated. And I was like, I think I would have remembered. I remember he would do that. And I'm like, do you think I'm just like stupid? Like, is that what we're operating under? Because I don't know what this joke is. And I'm wild.
I hate that. Men are awful. High school boys are awful.
Yeah. I think 8th grade was the worst. 7th and 8th is when they were the worst.
Okay, so before we get into Little Women, I had to bring something to the table. I had to do it, okay? So yesterday I had the biggest realization of my life because we were eating dinner and we have this tiny little Christmas tree on the dinner table. And it has like, it's like a little decoration thing and it has little ornaments on it. And there's like, it's decorated with like tiny pine cones. And I looked at it and I was like, are pine cones nuts? Like at the dinner table, and like nobody answers me. And then this is where it starts the entire, like, I start spiraling because I'm like, what makes a nut a nut? Like, what is the classification for nut? Like, what, how do we know what that is? And I realized, like, if somebody told me to describe what a nut is, I wouldn't know. So then I go on this like wild Google rampage. And so let me tell you. So a nut, usually it has a flower or like a fruit, and then a nut, what makes a nut is when it has like a hard shell around like a seed in something, and like it's like in the seed is like protected by a hard shell. Okay, so we have the nut thing in our brains, and then I was thinking about coffee beans, right? And I'm like, is it really a bean? It's not a bean. It doesn't fall into the bean family. It simply looks like a bean, so they call it that, but it doesn't meet bean classification. And what makes a bean is when you have like little seeds inside of a pod. So like different from a nut where you have like a singular seed inside of a hard shell. It's more like a pod, and that's why there's like several. But coffee doesn't come like that. So coffee is actually a seed because it's not inside of a pod with other stuff. Oh. And then I was like, okay, what is a pine cone then? I thought that was a nut. And it's
Isn't
like
that a seed?
Well, okay, it isn't nut because like inside of the pokey things, it has like the seed inside, because that's what the heart like the
because I knew you could plant them and grow a tree.
Yeah, and that's what pine nuts are from. They're from pine cones, and I never put that together in my life.
First of all, what the is a pine nut?
You've never heard of a pine nut?
No.
Oh my god. Also, have you seen cashews? They're like
I've seen cashews.
No, they come with this like, I'm sorry, but it's a fruit that like it's very like
cashews are a fruit?
It comes on it comes on this long fruit thing that looks disgusting, and then the cashew like dangles off the edge, and I'm sorry, it looks like a dick. Like it just looks like one, and they just dangle, but there's only one per fruit. So imagine them picking a bunch of cashews. They pick one.
Oh my god. Wow, why are they not like a luxury?
Actually, that's what I'm saying.
Super expensive.
I think so.
I wouldn't. Once in New York, and it hit. Mm-hmm. Like my bank account was a little weak after that.
No, yeah, I think that's why, because it's like literally like per fruit. There's only like one singular
the
cashew.
Most ridiculous occurrence, and I just burped a little.
Oh,
it wasn't even a good one. That's like ridiculous, and I hate it.
No, yeah, it's like
and I wish they grew more, and that's like kind of upsetting.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely batshit, but yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Speaking of Emma Watson,
this whole podcast is hard transitions. Like there's absolutely no segue.
It's like how we drive, you know what I mean? Like
absolutely. Hard turn. Yeah, but basically I hate Emma Watson. Like I don't like her. Okay, it's more like I think she's not a good actress. Like I don't personally hate her. Like I don't dislike the actual person, but I don't think she's a good actress, and I think she single-handedly dragged down the entire cast of Little Women.
I don't think she I think she's like a good actress. Mm-hmm. I just don't think she was good enough for them.
I just think like, okay, my problem with this was, okay, also disclaimer, have you read the books? The book for Little Women?
No, I have it, but I haven't read it.
Okay, I have not read it, nor have I seen any of the other ones. So everything that we're saying is based only off of the 2019 Greta Gerwig film of Little Women. Okay, this is not based off of anything. Like, I don't know if it's like different from film to film, you know, like or whatever.
I think Greta, from what I understand, made the ending more open.
Yeah, so I think, yeah. So everything that we're saying is only based off of that movie, because I think that's the only thing that that we can compare to. But back to why I don't like Emma Watson. So my problem is that they had so many like giants, like acting giants. Like they had like literally Meryl Streep, like Laura Dern, and then, you know, we have Florence, and like Timothy alone would bring in a lot of people. And like
Saoirse and Timothy together is like very like
that alone is already
everyone loves them.
Exactly. So then I don't understand why we had to bring in another big name like Emma Watson when she's not even particularly like, I don't think she's particularly great at acting. Like I think like that would have been the perfect opportunity to like find a new person you know, that's like an unknown talent, because I think we had enough like big names, and I don't know why they felt the need, because I think that they brought her on as like partly because of her name, you know, because she's like well known enough, and like I don't know, that's just my complaint. I just think they missed the opportunity to find like a new person. Like they just like she only stuck with like well-known-ish people, where I feel like Meryl Streep alone, I feel like people will go to see your movie. It's like fine, like you don't need to bring in all these people. But yeah, I just like didn't like, I just thought like she was not bad, but she was not good, and you needed to be great to be in that cast, because everyone was like insane.
Yeah, I can't think of like, other than Emma Watson, there wasn't a single like actor that I was like, eh.
Exactly.
I don't feel like as intensely as you do about it, but I don't like Meg. I don't like most of the sisters. I literally don't like 50% of them. However, I hated Amy, and everyone on TikTok gets on your ass if you hate Amy. They're like, you just don't understand the like cinematic blah blah. F off. Like, I don't like Amy because who likes Amy?
Oh my god. Okay, my love of Amy is also fueled by my love of Florence Pugh.
Oh, I think
so I'm overlapping, so it's not really like I love Amy.
I know this is a grown woman, but I would like to pinch her cheeks. I think she's the most adorable person that I have ever encountered. And she's so wonderful. Sweet and cute. However, this is the part that got me. When she threw Joe's script into the fire,
and I was so triggered.
She couldn't go to a performance. I was like, bitch, that's why they didn't invite you. Because you act like that.
Okay, I think it's so funny because she was like 13. She was like 13, and you held it against her until like she was like 21 by the end of it. Like,
I just also find like pining very annoying. Like when like people like actively pine after someone for years. Like,
stop, that's me.
Like, no, you don't. Not past like the crush. You know when you're like younger, and it's, like very crushy. But like I did that. But pining, like, I think once you're like 18, unacceptable. Stop it. I don't know how old she was at the end, but I'm like,
they had to be like early 20s.
I also don't like,
or maybe a little later.
It's like very upsetting to me, and I get like the whole like Lori came around to loving her, but I'm like, that's it. You're taking someone who came around to loving you.
Yeah,
awful.
I don't think they should have had a child. I don't like that part of the ending.
They should have either.
I was like, get rid of it. But
throw it in the fire like you do with the script. I hated. I guess I feel weird about. I hate young Amy for sure. Yeah. I think when she's older, she's just disappointing, because maybe that's why I don't like her. Is because she moved to Europe. This woman was like so like interesting and like didn't care that she was leaving behind this boy she was in love with, who was in love with her sister. Like she just like did it, and she was having a great time, and she was a great painter, and like I don't know, it just like bothered me that she like gave up being interesting for what?
Yeah,
Lori,
for Timothy, for this scrawny man,
Timothy Chalamet,
who like didn't even love
so much. I think he's very beautiful. I hate all the body shamers on TikTok, but like I think he's gorgeous, but like, why did she do that?
Yeah, I guess I personally don't see it, but that's just like my general approach to like all like hot celebrities. Like, what?
That's your approach to just like people.
Yeah, I just like don't. It doesn't process in my brain, man. But
yeah.
But yes, okay. What I think is cool though, I think it's so okay. The reason why I loved Little Women was because it was so like theatrical. Like it just felt, it was the most like live theater like movie that I've ever seen in a while. That wasn't like a musical, you know, obviously, but like just like how all of the actors are just like themselves. They don't cast younger people for their younger selves, which was like such a like a weird choice on her end to like have them do that, because they're supposed to be really young in the earlier scenes.
Yeah, you had to explain that to me.
Yeah,
I didn't get it at first.
I had to like look it up because I wasn't sure if like that was like an active choice that she made. I was like, that would be kind of strange, like, because that's like not a normal thing to do in film, because that's the type of thing that you would do in live theater, because it's expected in live theater, like, oh, obviously like It's the suspension of disbelief. But like that, but you don't do that in movies. And it was like a weird choice to have her do that in like an actual movie where like you can obviously see that these people are not 13 years old.
Yeah, maybe that's what fueled my hatred for Amy, is because she looks so much older, and it looks like this like older teen doing this when she's actually like a baby. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I get angry at settlers, even though like that's her choice. I understand, but like,
no, yeah,
so disappointing.
I think it's,
and I think she was bitchy and then settled, and that's like the worst. That's the worst combination. You can either be bitchy and not settle, or settle and not be bitchy. You don't get both.
No, like she had the right idea at first though, when like Lori like started confessing to her, and then she was like,
that
no,
was what she should have done.
She was like, no, you can't do that. Like that's not allowed. Like I took years out of my life, and then now you're coming here. But then she changed her mind. I was like, why did you change your mind?
There was no ending I could have possibly. We were talking about this. I think Han said it, but there's no like ending that we could possibly be satisfied with, because we played with that where we're like, oh, what would make us like happy, and nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's just too like, I guess Amy could have made me happy, like if she stayed in Europe and had fun and like didn't even get married. But if she did get married, marry someone interesting who loves you and not your sister. Like, no one can convince me he still wasn't in love with her, at least a little at the end. Like, he was very like, that one scene they included of him just being like jealous of Frederick was like,
when Amy was like fully there, I was like, hello.
And I also get that way about new people in my life, but like,
it was like comedic, but also I was like, if I was Amy, I would have been like, hello.
Like, she was like, come in, have him stay. Like,
I love Joe.
But yeah, I don't particularly like Amy. I think I really like bitches, like women who are just mean. Like,
me too.
But and she had that component.
She could like, do
when
it.
She was younger, it was annoying, and I think I would have liked it if she had stayed bitchy when she was older, and because I liked her speeches when she was older, then like continued like that. But I think why I find it so annoying, and I think it's like childish, is because that like faded when she decided she wanted to be with Lori.
I think like she couldn't help. I think like her like flaw, it was just like she couldn't help it. Like it was something that she had like dreamt about for forever, like as a child. And like her like trying to stay in touch with being a child, she like, it was like, it's like you're like, you know, her childhood crush is like now confessing feelings for her. And I think she just like couldn't be strong enough to be like, this is wildly offensive.
I understand too. Like there's something like very endearing about imagining your childhood crush like falling in love with you or confessing. But like, how are you not more angsty about all those wasted years?
Or it's like just, it's offensive to, it would be offensive to me. I'd be like, oh, now after like my sister like rejected your ass, you're here, sir.
And like the implications of that too, like he wouldn't be here if she hadn't. So like, I don't know. I don't particularly like Amy. In my ideal ending, she either died or stayed in Europe. So pick.
my favorite pitch on like how she dies is when like when like she and Joe are in the fight after she burned the journal, and then she and Joe and Lori go ice skating, and then Amy tries to follow them, but then like the ice cracks, and then the way she dies, she just drowns.
I like to imagine that Joe does it on purpose, and they're like skating, and she goes, oh, Lori, like you dumb little dog that will like do anything I say. There's like something over there. I want to go get it. And then Amy's there, and she sees Amy, and she goes back and she skates in circles around her to create this circle, like this hole, and Amy falls through. And then Joe just like skates wherever Lori is, and she distracts him long enough. And then they come back, and she's like, oh no, Amy, but Amy's dead.
Wow, that's a good one. I like that.
I'm so angry about the script thing. I feel like we did not take enough time to be angry about that.
That was whack. I can't believe she did. Especially like, imagine handwriting all that. Oh, I love Joe. Okay, also, I don't even know that I like Lori. I I understand that he was in love with Joe, and when you're in love with people, you do like whack ass shit, which is, it's fine, that's normal. But like the scene, oh god, that like beautiful scene. It's like I love that scene where he starts like trying to like they're like on the hill and he's like, "No, you must hear me." And like she's like, "No, no, 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 no." She like doesn't want to hear it. Like that's like one of my favorite scenes just cuz like acting wise, I just appreciate it. But I think he was being so toxic because he was like, no, like you could be happy if we get married. And to me, that's like, I get mad because this has happened to me before, where like men will act like they know you so well, and then they go and say something like, oh, what, you would be so happy if we got married. Like if you knew Joe, you would know that she would not be happy that way.
Yeah.
And if he truly knew her and understood her like the way that he thinks he does, he would know. I mean, obviously he was just in denial, but like I'm just saying like telling her like, no, but we could be happy if you were to like marry me and like we could be in love. And she was like, ew, no. And he's like, no, like you don't understand. And like he just like didn't get that like that's not what she wants from life. And it just felt like such a miss on like understanding her as a person.
I didn't even think about that because like I'm very endeared with like both of these actors.
Me too. It's hard to like critique it, but if I think about it, yeah.
The lines that like stand out for me is when this is why I was just looking at them. They're like fighting. I'm like, oh, they're so cute because like
I love them.
It's where Joe's just talking about how she like couldn't be his wife. She's like telling him all these reasons she'd be like an awful wife to him or like to anyone, and why she doesn't want to like be with him. And he's just like, he has his head down. He's just like, I love you, Joe. I love you, Joe. And like for some reason, I was like, it's kind of cute.
I love that scene as much as I just shat on it.
It's like toxic, but it's like.
But I love it. I love slow burn. We were a generation. I saw this on TikTok. People were just talking about slow burns, and we were just like, our age group was raised on slow burns, and I think that's why we all crave it now, or at least I crave it.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, I just love it so much. That scene is so good. Acting, I just like. I'm not saying I'm a good actor, but I'm just saying like I think it's so. I get so excited. What?
Sorry, I said, well, you are, so. I said it like aggressively though.
You're like, yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, it's like not like I think I like it's not like I don't know, it's not like I know too much about it, but it just like I get excited when I see scenes where I'm like, oh, that would be so fun to do. And I think about the actors having a lot of fun like learning it and like practicing it. And like they must have had so much fun doing it, like that particular scene where they get to do this like push pull. It just like sounds like such a fun like acting exercise
in real life. Like they're very like I like watching their bloopers. Not that they have a lot, but they're very like sweet. And like I was watching the outtakes, and like there's this scene where they're just like walking through the woods. I don't know what they're doing, and Timmy pretends he like sees something or whatever, and he like grabs her and pulls her back, and it freaks her out, and she slaps his shoulder. But like everyone was like, they're literally Joe and Lori like in real life. And then everyone who like ships them or whatever, I don't know how I feel about shipping real people. I think you can be like, oh, they would be cute together, but like you don't have to like.
I also I get frustrated when people are forcing it though. I'm like, but those are obviously friends. Like I watch them interact. I'm like, oh no, but they're not. It's not romantic. Like it's very obviously not romantic.
I think it's so cute as friends too. You know what I mean? Like they're like just so comfortable and platonic with each other. But they're literally Joe and Lori, where like everyone thinks they should be together, but they shouldn't be.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, I think I'm more okay with shipping people who are like very obviously like, you know, like when it's like a lot of very obvious like romantic stuff. Like, but I feel like it's gone so far that it's like literally just people talking. And I'm like, why are we freaking out? Like it's just normal.
Right. Or it's them just being like very like if it were like two guys or two girls, no one would say shit. But like because it's like a guy and a girl, they're like making a big deal out of it. And it was like I just think they're such cute friends. So when I watch their scenes, like I can't help but like I'm like they're adorable, even though it's like not a cute scene.
No, but it's like such a good scene. Oh, so good. Oh man. Okay, my way that I would like to kill off Emma Watson in Little Women is like instead of
not Meg, Emma Watson.
No, Emma Watson. Meg doesn't exist to me. So like when Beth is sick, everyone comes home, right? or like this is in my head. Everyone is gonna come home, and then we're all like, Beth is dying, like, and then in a miracle, a leap of faith, the virus or whatever it is, it goes to Emma Watson, and then Beth is okay, and Emma Watson dies.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, that's how I would like for that to happen.
I was thinking about how Little Women kind of screws over all of them, like in a sense. I don't know.
Everyone
maybe it's
sacrifices.
because I want them to turn out differently. So I guess Greta left it open-ended for Joe, but in the book, from what I understand, I haven't read it. Please, no one fact check me on this. Joe does end up getting married, but in the movie they like altered it. So it was kind of open-ended, and she might have just written that ending, which is what I choose to believe.
Yeah. I mean, okay, wait. So like, was it like she opened a school?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's how the book ends.
I don't know either, but I don't like that ending. Personally, I just like wanted her to be a wildly, like, I just like don't think. I feel like that. I don't know. Like, I wanted her to be like a wildly successful author, and like that's it. Like, I didn't want her to be like finding like a side job that is more realistic. You know what I mean? Because it feels like teaching. Like, I was just kind of like, like, I guess, because I know that she taught them growing up, but I'm like, but I don't necessarily think there's anything about her personality that is like, oh, this is a good teacher.
It feels like they all got like domesticated, like
exactly
like animals. Like Amy was like, oh, I wish she had just been a raging bitch. I would have liked her so much.
Well,
but, like
why couldn't they?
So docile at the end, and I
hate it. And that's how I feel about Joe too. Like, I wanted Joe to be like on a book tour, and like she never sees it, like, because she's busy touring. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted her to be wildly successful,
wild, and like free, and
then she was just like, but like if you have like a business like that, then you're planted in the one place. So I was just kind of like,
yeah, I guess I didn't really feel either way about it, but it felt so. I guess there's not a lot you can do when you're working with like a source material. So like this isn't like on Greta.
Oh no,
but like
this is just me being unfair towards it.
Right. The book is just like she did what she could. She gave us an open ending. It's just like upsetting to like see these women who are very like powerful and like independent be like even Meg. I mean, Beth is just dead, but Meg, like she I mean, growing up poor, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to live above what you grew up with. Like, especially growing up poor. And then like
they all shout on her for that. I was like, oh.
Right. Like, she just wanted to do a joy shit, and everyone was so mean to her for that. And then she was like, I'll be happy with anything.
I'll be desperately good for the rest of my life. That's the line that they played in the trailer over. And like, you know, like when Lori,
like Lori's shitting on her for that. I'm like, excuse me, you were raised in a mansion.
Yeah, what did he say? He said something mean. He was like, that ugly ass dress. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that one part.
Yes.
I was like, leave her alone. Okay. That was so whack.
That reminds me of his role as Kyle. Like,
yes, in Lady Bird.
Like, he thought he was above everyone else. He's like, I'm gonna barter. I haven't used currency in 2 years.
When she's like, I don't have a cell phone. Like f you, Kyle.
When she loses her virginity to him, he starts talking about the war afterwards. That reminded me of like him being handed everything and then criticizing people for wanting that.
I was like, like he's one of those rich people that wants to be poor. Like, hello, sir?
I don't know. I hated how they all ended. I mean, Beth just died, so she didn't get to live her dream. Amy couldn't continue to be like a raging hot feminist bitch, and I would have loved her.
She could have been a painter.
Someone's wife who loved. Not that there's anything wrong with being someone's wife, but someone's wife who's in love with your sister.
Who like went to you after being hard rejected by your sister. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even like a natural, like, oh, I was just a crush when I was younger. It was like he fully loved her his entire life up until when she rejected him.
I still believe that he loved her through the end. Nothing will ever change my mind on that.
I think that Lori massively put her on a pedestal and like thought she was like all these things that she just simply wasn't. Which it's so strange how like these things are like they just like the same things have happened to me. Like it's just weird how these are people from like what century, you know, like it's like a completely different time period. And like the same shit where like I think he just like saw a lot more in her than like what she was like. I think she's being very clear of like this is like I can't offer you that because that's not who I am. And like the things that you want from me I can't give to you because that's not who I am. And he just like saw her as like this like perfect being. So I think yes, he would love her for the rest of his life in that story, but not on like who she actually is. I think it's just like an idea of like like being in because like they've known each other like forever. I don't know. I just think he's just like blinded.
Oh, okay. My interpretation of that was always he loved her for who she was, but like didn't understand that there were limits to what she could give him. So like I don't think he saw her like rose-colored glasses. I think he knew who she was, but wanted it so desperately that like he was kind of willing to overlook the fact that she couldn't give it to him and would just like silently like pine for her. You know what I mean? Like I think personality-wise, I think that he knew who she was, but I think he wasn't willing to accept this like last bit of her. That would mean that they could never really be together or be married.
That's what I meant like earlier, like about how like for someone who like really understands her, he doesn't really understand her, you know, like because like if you were to understand all these things about Joe, like why are you asking to marry her? Like obviously, like you know, like that it doesn't make any. It's like a complete contradiction, and like he must have. I mean, I guess he must have known. He was just
I think it was false hope. I think he wanted it so badly,
and because that was because like he loves her for being the kind of person that doesn't want to marry and then is like asking her to marry him like
right. Yeah, I think he knew, and I think that's why it was like it took so long for him to say it. It's one of those things that like you know the answer, so you don't want to ask the question. So I don't think it was that he didn't know her. I think it was more like he wasn't willing to accept this like last bit because it meant like it would never happen. Like it really confirmed it for him that it would never happen.
I think I just get frustrated when men have like the information available to them and then try to make the argument that they know you really well, but then they ask you something that you know. Like I know that he was just in denial, but I was like, but like you already know. Like you didn't like you're acting. I just get mad when they act like they know you really well and they just like ask you something that is like absurd. And anyone who knew you would not ask you. But I know that he was just in love with her and like he was acting out.
Yeah, I think it was an absurd thing to ask her. But I also understand like he was so like deeply in love with her that like I don't know. I think it was like bad judgment on his part. I'm glad. I think it would have been also I think it would have been weird if he like didn't tell her. Like that was just like there.
I'm glad that he
did. Either way, it's like that's the whole thing about Little Women is you don't get a good ending.
There's no satisfying anything to that movie in like the greatest way. I don't know. I think I do feel for him though. I think like he was just so frustrated with her because he was like, but we're like compatible in every single way. And she was still just like, no.
Yeah.
And like that's like I feel like you know like that's like even more hurtful than just like not being compatible with each other because they got along so well. So for him it's like, but we get along perfectly. Like I don't get why you wouldn't want to be with me because it would have been more plausible if it was like, well, but we're just too different. You know, that's why we can't be together. But it was like we are perfectly matched for each other, but we cannot be together still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I understand the frustration behind it. And I understand it because like Joe also, that's how I feel sometimes. Like I want to be able to do these things. Like I want to get married or to have kids, but I just don't feel that way. So I understand the emotion behind it, which is, I guess that's why I'm like kind of sympathetic, like Lori, because like I imagine like knowing that, again, like you said, knowing you're compatible with someone and wishing that was something you could give them, but not being able to. Like it's like heartbreak. I think
It's like hard, yeah.
she might not have like been like in love with him or whatever, but like that's
She
still
loved
like
him.
heartbreaking for her to be like, I wish I could, but I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, like if I could force myself to do it, I would. Like if I could force myself to want that with you, I would. And then like then you just get mad at yourself because you're like, yo, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't I want to marry this man?
Right.
He's like right there.
I say this to Han sometimes about like one particular person, and I'm like, if it were anyone, it would have been them. And like, I think that's like a similar thing with Lori and Joe is like, if it were anyone, it would have been him. So
Yeah.
like, I think it like solidified it for her, which is why I don't, which that's why I like Greta's interpretation, because in no world would she have settled for Frederick.
Right.
But which is so frustrating because I always thought she just didn't like the idea of marriage. And like that Lori was like an instrument of showing just how much she didn't like it or wasn't able to give that to him because he was like her perfect match and she still couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the whole thing of like felt like female empowerment. Like,
Yeah.
you know, some people just don't want that and it's not a matter of looking for the right guy. So having Greta's interpretation was really nice because it's like she just wrote that ending. But I imagine in the book, from what I've heard, is she does marry Frederick.
I think so. I'm pretty sure I've heard that.
And like,
Which is
that's just so infuriating.
That is so frustrating. I'm glad it wasn't that in this
I guess in the movie
adaptation.
Yeah, the movie you could think that, but it would be he's not in the end part. You know what I mean? Like the school part.
Yeah. Wait, was he there?
I don't think so, right?
I kind of forget. I just remember the freaking baby. And I was
I
like,
remember
you're joking.
Lori.
I was so mad. I was like, no, absolutely
there was no reason
not
for that child to be there.
Yeah, I was like, that was unnecessary. That was overkill. That was too far. My boundaries been crossed. Yeah, but
hated it.
Oh, I love it though. I can perfectly see both sides of it.
That's why I think it's so interesting, like, because you're coming at it from the perspective of like, oh, like men have said this to you before.
Yeah, and mine's like of like purely like what I've experienced.
Right. And mine's more like I feel like I'm like in the position of Joe where like I wish I could, but I can't. Yes. And so I like sympathize with Lori for that reason. Okay. It's like I feel like I'm like hurting people.
Okay, yes. Okay. So this was the exact thing that happened in like my previous relationship because I know that like he wanted to have kids like in the future. And at the time I was just like so in love. So I saw that as like a possibility and like I fully believed for like a while that like the reason that we wouldn't work out was because I was not going to want to have kids with him. And then we would get into like it was really weird. Like it wasn't like obviously it was nothing to be stressed over because it was all hypothetical because we're young. But like I got very serious about it and I was like, no, but like if I like in the future if we're still together, like I'm gonna want to like not be together because I don't want to be the one that doesn't give you children. You're just gonna like resent me later. Like it's not gonna be good. And then he would just be like, no, like it's okay. Like I wouldn't like it'd be okay if I didn't have that. If I could like be with you. And I was like, no, that's like whack. Like we can't do it like that. And that was like one of like the bigger like not an argument but like disagreements of like that we would like have. And so like I kind of feel for Joe in that. And like the more I would get really frustrated when he like said anything to imply that I was going to do it in the future. Like I would change my mind later. Ugh. I was just saying that now. I would get so frustrated. I was like, no, like because like it's okay if I say it, but it's not okay if other people say it. You know what I mean?
That's so yours comes more from a place of like anger at people like assuming that you change your mind.
Yeah.
And also like it's frustrating to see someone like be like, oh, but I'd give this up for you. And you'd be like, no, but I'm not asking you to.
Yes. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not asking you to like be the sacrifice. Like I like please don't. Like yeah.
So that's so interesting because yours comes from a place of anger and mine comes from like, I'm upset because I wish I could give the people I love these things. Or like I potentially, you know what I mean? Oh, that's so weird. That's why we sympathize with characters differently.
I think why it comes from anger is because then I feel like misunderstood by somebody it's what it keeps going back to, like feeling misunderstood by somebody that is supposed to know you well is like so frustrating to me.
Gotcha. See, I don't feel misunderstood. I feel like sad. I'm like people like perfectly, or I think they think I'm like kidding. Because like I'll humor it. I'll be like, okay, this is what I would name my kid if like I had a kid, or this is how I would raise a kid if I had a kid. And I think they think I'm like half kidding.
Yeah.
Like not
that's
kidding.
Frustrating. Yeah.
But like it doesn't like ring with me. Because like at the same time I'm like, I don't want to lose this person. I like humor it.
That's so crazy though. I haven't thought too hard about Joe and Lori. And now I can like, I understand both sides of it. I think they're both very bad. Because I think I've been both of them in different situations to like some degree.
Yeah, because like I think it would have been weird if he didn't express how he felt.
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody. Yeah.
But then it's also still like, I don't know.
No, yeah. Because like if I was him, I would also say it.
Right. But then it's also like, I don't know, just how Joe is. It's like, but that's not going to change anything. And like reassuring her that she'd be a good wife is like something that you're
that
like.
Was toxic. I was like,
right. Like he's projecting. And I understand like, okay, I guess that also could be interpreted as like, he loves her so much he thinks she would. Like maybe he genuinely thinks that.
Because he just loves her. You know, he just like wants to be with her.
Right. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he like understands that like that's not like something, even if she'd be good at it, it's not something she'd want. And I also don't think she'd be good at it.
Yeah, I also don't. She would be so flighty. Oh my God. But wow.
She would leave.
She really would. I think my like one of my like coping mechanisms with like when presented with something that's like a challenge in a relationship, I'll be like, I'm just gonna let you go. Like that's always my initial reaction. And then like I guess in my previous relationship, it was more like they wanted, but like maybe with time, like we can like learn how to do it. And I typically don't like, I feel like that part, like the idea of like, just like, like you'll learn to love me. It wasn't like said like that, but like in a situation where you're like, but you like Lori saying like, but you would learn to like love being with me and like being like we could be married, like you would learn to love it.
Right.
I don't like that because that feels like
you shouldn't have to.
That directly translates to like, you're settling. like in my brain, that's what that means.
He wouldn't have liked her if she settled. That was the whole thing. Like if she had chosen to be with him, he wouldn't have liked her. Like he wouldn't have had the same Joe he fell in love with.
Exactly. If he wanted someone who was gonna settle, he'd just be with Amy.
Right. Like he did.
No. Whoa. Wait, also like I feel like because like Amy, I think what makes Amy likable is that she's a little like she has like a smidge of Joe in her.
Yeah, like the whole leave. I think when we realized she was more like Joe than like we knew was when she left for Europe. Like she literally like took Joe's spot.
She was like, peace. Yeah. Whoa.
So like then she like kind of became Joe and she became docile. Someone's wife.
Docile. Yeah. Wow, this is crazy. It must be why he liked her though. It was like Joe, but like she won't leave.
That's what's so frustrating. He replaced Joe with Joe.
Yeah. Well,
the reason Amy was interesting to him is because she did something like what Joe would do.
Like leave and like, because she like went to like Europe and was like painting.
Yeah, that's like a Joe move.
Yeah.
Go somewhere and do something artsy.
Damn.
I don't know. I just like, I think everyone was wildly unhappy at the end. Why are we pretending that everyone was happy?
I think overall, my most ideal ending to Little Women would just be everyone is single.
I was going to say everyone is dead.
But like, are Joe and Amy that similar? I'm trying to think of like others, like similarities in their like character. I'm like forgetting. I'm kind of blanking on like what else they did.
They're both like very like intense.
They're both pretty like outspoken. Like I think Amy also would just speak up on shit that she thinks. Like
yeah, Meg and Beth were very like soft.
Yeah, and they won't necessarily speak up every single time. I think Amy would, right? I think she's had times like that.
I think Joe's just like you're more inclined to listen to.
And oh wait, no, yeah, Amy when she like yelled at Lori at that dance. She was like, "You." What did she say to him? It was so funny.
Talking about he was a whore and he was drunk.
And she was like, "Look at that hand. It has not done a day of work."
Not done a day of work.
It's like
not seen the day of work.
She dragged him. I was like,
what did he call her? He was so funny in that scene when he did that little spin.
Yeah.
that?
I don't remember.
He kept going, why? Why tell me? I thought it was so.
Oh, my favorite. Oh, it was like the earlier scenes when like they like randomly see each other when Meryl Streep is in the carriage, and then Amy like leaps out of the carriage. And I love that scene. That one makes me so pumps me with serotonin. Like it makes me so happy. They're just so happy to see each other.
Walk kills me in that scene. Why does he move like that? But I know if someone put a camera on me, that's how I'd move. So like,
absolutely, yeah.
I can't even like say anything.
But anyways, yeah, I do think so. Yeah, like Amy and Joe are very similar.
They were the harder counterparts of the group, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. Wow.
It's like how we are with Mariel and Hannah.
Yes. Oh my God. Wait, let's cast each other as like all four of us.
I know I'm gonna be Amy.
Are you? Let me think.
I hate it because
you're probably more Joe.
I think really? I think
well,
I'm like annoying.
I'm trying to think. Well, I'm thinking like I thought I wouldn't settle, but also like I'm the one that would like I'm the one ending up in relationships that are like not even really you don't even like them.
Yeah, but you're single now.
I know, but it took me way too long. Anyways.
Well, it depends on interpretation you take. Because technically Joe did settle.
Do any of us even really fit the Little Women? I want to be Laura Dern. We didn't talk about her.
That would be Beth.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't know, but she's gonna die. Her like weak body couldn't take the illness. Like
I think, yeah, Hannah would be Beth. I can see her like weak body not taking the illness.
But like I don't think Mariel is Meg.
No.
Wait, Laura, you know who you are? You are Meryl Streep. You are literally her. You know how she was like, he's like, no, I don't need a husband. Like,
yeah. You know what? I think I'm cool with that one.
Old and rich. She's rich as
I think I can see you as Laura Dern when you're older. No, that's Mariel maybe.
I think Mariel is Laura Dern. Stop, we're not even using their names. Wasn't Marmee, but but
I don't know her name. That's why I said
no,
Laura
but like I think you're Meryl Streep because like I'm Amy and then you're gonna take me to go painting in Europe. We're just like
sweet.
And then you like want me to be like rich and single like you.
Uh-huh.
Or
and then
no.
you just don't.
Yeah, and then she gets so pissed. Remember, she was so mad. She was like,
yeah. Yeah. So I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
I love Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep was the real like sister.
She knew.
She was the winner.
She got it.
Mm-hmm. What was her name?
I don't know.
She was the only one in that movie that won.
Meryl. No, yeah, she was the only one. She fully passed away and like did exactly what she set out to do, as she should.
Right. She was the winner. They painted her out as like this little evil bitch. She
literally wasn't. She literally was not. And she was simply trying to like let everybody else be rich and single like her. Mm-hmm. And they were all just like, mean. You're so mean. You're making me read you books. Like, remember when Joe was like
paying you to read her books? Yeah, something you enjoy doing.
Yeah, and then she was like, I'm gonna take you to Europe with me, and everyone's like, meh, like you're mean. I was like,
God.
Ungrateful.
Actually, no, maybe I don't like any of the sisters.
Honestly, yeah, they all have things about them that I'm frustrated with.
I don't think Joe's is just like the thing where she like, I think she could have been like Meryl's equal, and then she just really could have, which is incredibly frustrating.
Yeah,
like she's like, she's so mean. I'm like, bitch, that's you.
Like, this is what we should be striving for. Pay attention, take notes.
Right. I hate it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to tell us what your like preferred ending to Little Women would be?
Yeah. Okay. Everyone. First of all, the pairings I would like to see. I'd like to see Joe and Laurie. I'd like to see Amy and Laurie. I would like to see. Are there any lesbians in this who aren't related?
Oh, wait, we didn't even talk about that. Joe is a lesbian.
Oh, yeah. But she, literally all the other women in the movie were her relatives, blood relatives. So, can't really do that. I would just like to see everyone hook up. And then some jealousy arises. And there's kind of like a brutal murder, which leads to like one of these like murder mystery dinners.
Oh, and then absolutely. Like Knives Out.
Kills each other. And
oh my God.
The culprit is Frederick.
Oh my God. Like like Little Women, but like the sequel is just like Little Women, like the characters of Little Women in Knives Out, where they have like this whole
Little
murder
Women
mystery.
2, Knives Out.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds like a plan. Somebody should send that to Greta. That. I'll write the script and email it.
I would like to see all of this weird sexual tension like be done.
Yes.
And then I'd like to see them kill each other.
I want like Joe and Amy to be like passing Laurie back and forth, but he's unaware that.
Win for feminism. We need to start a list of things that feel like a win for feminism, but aren't. Yeah. I would like them to pass him back and forth like he's just like a toy.
Like he's an object.
Yeah.
An absolute object.
And he'd like it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Things that are going to get us canceled.
Things
that they're going to run when I run for office. I would like Saoirse and Florence to pass Timothy back and forth.
Yes, because men are objects.
Yes.
In case you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
If you were not aware.
I can see that stamp they put on political commercials, that red one, and it just says misandrist.
No, literally, whoever your opponent is going to have a field day. Like, they're going to have so much fun tracking down all the little things you've said online.
What I would like is that it makes people want to vote for me more.
Oh my god, yes. Like an anti-laur campaign video.
And I'm down 13 points. There was no reason for this person to run this against me. Mm-hmm. But then somehow it flips the election.
Wait, it flips. We have no, you're the reason that there's blue Florida and blue Texas. You alone flip it.
Everywhere's blue except for my home state. They just really hate me. They're embarrassed.
So funny. Oh my god. Amazing.
Wow. Anyways.
That was so much.
I don't know what we talked about.
I don't either. I already blacked out.
What was your ideal ending if you could
I would want Jo to kind of go off on her own and not really not I don't want her to see her family, but I want her to be traveling or doing something fun or writing books and being adventurous. And so then she's not really with anybody. And then I think I literally want everybody to just be single.
Yeah, I think I'd enjoy that.
Just tension.
I think there's something very satisfying about all of this energy being relieved, which I can appreciate that because slow burn. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, all of them having sex and then proceeding to kill each other releases so much energy.
Catharsis, yeah.
It was just built up during that.
I love that. Oh my god.
Does that not them killing each other out of just pure rage and jealousy?
Yes.
After everyone slept with that. Well, not everyone, because incest, but actually they don't have a lot of options.
I think somebody kills Laurie. So Amy comes in while Joe and Laurie are having sex, and then Amy sees them and she's ah! And then she gets into a carriage, and then Laurie's trying to stop her and then the horse tramples him and they roll over his body.
Accident.
No, it's just the horse
trampled.
Yes, the horse fully kicks him in the head, and then they ride over his body in the carriage, and it goes boom, boom over his body.
I think that's how it would happen. However, it would be more satisfying to see Joe kill Laurie.
Oh yes,
and then
maybe they're both in the car.
Joe kill Amy. I don't think it would play out this way, but I would also like to see her kill Frederick.
Oh, I want him dead.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
And I wouldn't mind if she killed Meg.
No, for sure. No. Oh my god, Meg sleeps with Frederick and is cheating on her husband, and then Joe angry kills her.
Oh my god, we forgot about Meg's husband.
Oh my god. Stop. You know that scene where she's crying and she's I couldn't help it. I bought the silk. And I was bitch, you didn't. And he's we're in debt, honey.
She committed to it so quickly.
I know. The peer pressure. It wasn't even peer pressure. It was a mere suggestion, and it overtook her.
No one told her she was oh, you have to buy it, but she meant it oh, it looks so good on you. You have to have this. Mm-hmm. All she did was suggest that, ma'am.
Yeah. Insane. And then she fully was okay, spent all of their money.
Joe's husband. I think Meg's husband can live.
Mm-hmm. He's the only survivor out of all of this.
I would like Joe to go to Europe, live out everything Amy got to do, because I'm so jealous on her behalf that Amy got to experience all of that.
Yes.
And then in some fleeting passion to recapture her youth, to maintain it, she wants to die young, she like jumps off a building.
Oh my God. Stop. And then, so it's been years, right? And then they all meet up again at Joe's funeral.
But they're dead.
Are they already dead?
Yeah, I want her to be the last one alive.
Oh, okay.
But no, let's go with yours. Let's go with yours. I want to see where this goes.
I'm just like the fighting that happens.
I want
Everyone's
Amy
like screaming at each other.
Grave.
Stop, no. So like Amy goes to Joe's like dead body, the open casket, and she's holding her hand and she's like apologizing for all the things that have gone wrong. And then Lori shows up and then they just have passionate sex like on the floor next to the open casket.
Oh, I was gonna say Amy, you know, she apologizes, and then Lori comes up and just starts Frenching Joe.
And then it was like they were preparing the body for the funeral, like the casket was like being ready for like the next day, and then everyone goes in for the funeral and the body's gone. And like Lori has her in his basement.
It's like stroking her hair.
And then he like gets married to Amy finally. And then like eventually she discovers Joe's rotting body that he has been like taking care of in the basement.
He like brushes her hair every night.
And oh my God, no. He keeps buying women's clothing. And Amy's like, I mean, I don't think he's into, like, I mean, it's okay if she like confronts him and he's like,
and she's into it.
Yeah, she's like, Lori, sweetie, it's okay. You can tell me. Like, I am not trying to judge you. I just like want to know what's going on. Talk to me. But really, he's been buying new fits for Joe to like change her clothes.
And Amy's like so open to it. He comes in one night. She's laying on the bed in a suit. She's like, hey.
He's like, what?
He like bolts, and she thinks he's just scared because she found the collection of dresses he keeps in the back of his closet. And she's like, no, it's okay. I know. It's all, I'm down. I'm cool with it.
And then he's like, you know? And he's like, I haven't had her body for that long. And she's like, what? And he's like, what did you think I was gonna say?
And she's like, I would like it to be a really long bit, you know, like sitcoms where they're saying things that apply to both.
Yes. But it's like really confusing and weird. I'm not smart enough to think of that.
No, but she's like, I know. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I really like it. She's like, no, it's like, okay. I've always known.
And he's like,
you know? Always, the whole time.
She's like, yes. And like, I support it. Like, you support it?
It's like, even though I get off on it? And she's like, yeah, of course. He's like, can I show you?
And she's like, of course, sweetie. Like, and then
Joe's rotting corpse
takes her down to the basement.
Step out in like lingerie, but he's holding up Joe with his entire body weight.
Her arm is like the other way. It's
like, you know how like daughters like stand on their dad's feet when they're dancing?
It's like waving her arm.
Like, say hi.
Oh my God.
Why did we take it that far?
That was so far.
If anyone's wondering, that's how our text conversations go. The other day, I texted Han, and it was on TikTok, and I realized that I implied that she would be drinking my piss. Like, she just went along with it.
And I was just like, I mean, okay. I was Amy in that situation. I was like, I mean, if you're into it, like,
right.
If you asked right, I guess I'd be okay with it.
I just texted her back a heart. Usually we take it way too far. And I'm like, BRB, mailing you my piss.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're just like, never talk about it again.
Yeah. We do that a lot. We take it like, but that's just a taste of
just a little
what we do.
A little.
Still. Wow.
I'm emotionally exhausted from that.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, we should wrap this one up.
We should wrap her up. There was so much unusable content in that.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what part ends up in the clips because that was just.
There's so many good options.
Anyways, we have our resource list in our description, our Instagram handles at 2baddecisionspod and at shop2baddecisions. That's it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope. That sounds like about it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.